Welcome to Stopping Goliath. My name is J Kimmel, and today we're going to be discussing why 75% of our children abandon their Christian faith after they leave home. Normally, there's a link to an article in the description of these videos. Today, there's going to be a link to a video, which I'll describe to you in a few moments. After you watch this video, if you think others should know this truth, then please share this video with them. Like, comment, let's have a conversation. I would love to have a conversation about this situation and know what you think about what we're about to talk about. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you do, hit the notify button and you will know instantly when we drop a new video. So according to Barna Research, 75% of our children abandon their faith when they leave home, whether they go off to college or they just move out to go work. And that's up about 5% from a decade ago. And it seems to be rising at a rate of about 5% per decade, but we're up to 75%. That is a massive number. 3 out of every 4 kids who leave home stop going to church and abandon their faith when they leave. Why? Why is this happening? I mean, there's always been some kids who just didn't want what their parents offered, but why such a massive number? Well, the answer is related to a shocking comment that I heard in an interview, and it was Mike Pompeo, and we'll talk about him in just a second, in a recent interview with John Stossel. That's what the link to the video is in the description of this video. If you don't know exactly who Mike Pompeo is, he's the former Secretary of State, and he's also the former director of the CIA. Now, forget about what you think about the CIA. Those people know bad guys. They understand what it's like to be an enemy of the United States, and they know who their enemies are. And this guy was the director of the CIA. And when John Stossel asked him, who is the most dangerous person in the world right now? And he was expecting an answer like Kim Jong-un or Vladimir Putin, who, by the way, has threatened to nuke us, right? Pretty dangerous guy. It's not how he answered. He said the most dangerous person in the world today, from an American perspective, is Randi Weingarten. Now, you might not even know their name. You're like, who is Randi Weingarten? Well, she is the president of the American Federation of Teachers. She is the head of the National Teachers Union that 1.7 million of our friends who are teachers subscribe to. And the truth is, our children are being destroyed, and this was Pompeo's point, are being destroyed by our own school system. Now, stay with me. I know what just flexed up in you. You're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Teachers off limits. I get it. Stay with me. Over the years, teachers have moved further and further and further to the left as a group. Now, for those of us who live in more conservative states, the numbers are a little different. For those of us who live in more liberal states, the numbers are a little different. But when you look at teachers, the whole gamut, and you start with the lowest grade level, so kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, at the bottom, they're more conservative. And at the top, when you get into college, when you get into graduate degrees, they're more liberal on average. The highest current percentage I could find of Democrat versus Republican in groups of teachers in the most conservative states and the lowest grades, which is the most conservative part, was 27% Republican, 73% Democrat. If you flip into a more liberal state, those numbers jump dramatically. And as you get higher in education, so just to give you an idea, in high schools across the country, 92% of their teachers are Democrats. You get into institutions of higher learning, get into universities, colleges. Math and science is the most conservative group of folks, and 87% of them are liberals. English teachers, 97% are liberals. Health, 99% of university professors are liberals. Now, we're not talking about just left of center folks or just right of center folks like politics used to be. That's not the way it is anymore. So what is it? What is it that Mike Pompeo, what is it that I am so concerned about? What is it that our children are being taught? Because remember, this vlog is all about where culture and spirituality, Christianity collide, okay? Where the spirit and the culture collide. This isn't about politics. So the first place that the Word of God and what our kids are being taught collides has been colliding for a long time, and that's evolution, right? This is the easy one. We all knew this one, but what was taught as a theory when I was a kid, I was told that creationism was a theory and that evolution was a theory, and they sort of wink, wink, nod, nod. We think it's evolution. That's kind of how I was brought up. That's not at all how it's presented today. Evolution is presented as fact. Creationism, not only is it not presented even as a theory, it's presented as a myth, a mythology, like Zeus is, okay? Same category in our schools. The next thing they're teaching our children is that abortion is healthcare, okay? Abortion is not healthcare. Abortion is murder. And our children are learning that it's healthcare, that it's normal. If you get pregnant, it's like birth control. You have an abortion. And it shouldn't be surprising that 58% of our teenagers that get pregnant terminate their pregnancies with abortions. The next thing they're learning is something called critical race theory. You've probably heard about this, and you probably don't know what it is unless you've really looked into it. Here's the nuts and bolts. Imagine that the Nazis or the Ku Klux Klan are teaching your kid about racial relations, except that it's flipped. If you're a white person, you are inherently a racist. You're a bad person. You have an evil past. You have literally a cursed background, and you have been horrible to all others, and you should feel guilty about who you are. And you are a lower class if you're a white American than if you're not a white American. And look, regardless of what you think about the different races, Galatians 3:28 is super clear. God believes that all men are equal, okay? And all of us have equal value in God's eyes. No race is better than another race. They're also taught what has come to be known as gender fluidity. It's not male and female. It's you can be whatever you want to be. Maybe you're a boy, maybe you're a girl, there is actually, I'm not kidding, I wasn't really intending to throw this in, but there's a bill right now to try to protect people who identify as animals. Not kidding, in our schools. It's out of control. And the truth is, our children are making choices they should never be allowed to make, and they're mutilating their bodies because they don't understand that God created them male or female. And our schools are sexualizing our kids younger and younger and younger and younger. And then on top of that, they're being taught that the LGBT lifestyle is normal. Now, this one's really important because for all history, as long as we've been looking at our society in America and trying to figure out what percentage of the population is homosexual versus heterosexual, it's always been about 1 to 1.5% of the population identifies as homosexual. That's what it was for like 100 years. In 2010, Obama took office and made a really big deal that he was going to find out what the real percentage of homosexuals in our society was, claiming that people who identify as gay were terrified to come out of the closet, and so they don't tell anyone they're gay. And so they made a very big deal about this study that they were going to do. And they went out and the gay community was very excited to finally find out how many people were truly homosexual. And the answer was shocking. It was just short of 1.5%. Exactly what it had always been. But then a shift happened in our schools. Our kids started being taught homosexuality is normal. Homosexuality is normal. Homosexuality is normal. So in 2010, call it 5% of the population identified, that's adults and kids, as homosexual. By 2017, 8% of high school kids identified as either homosexual or bisexual. By 2019, 12% of the population of our teenagers in high school identified as either homosexual or bisexual. The latest study I could find was released December 15th, 2022. We're talking about 45 days ago, give or take. 21% of kids entering college identify as either homosexual or bisexual today. It is absolutely frightening. We are hearing that as many as 1 in 3 kids are having a homosexual experience while they're in college. Our kids and our grandkids aren't just having sex, they're having sex with their own gender and in groups, and it's absolutely appalling. The last thing is going to surprise you. Climate change. Now, look, right now you're going, whoa, time out, John. This is supposed to be about spirituality. This is politics. Hear me out. You see, climate change is not just a field of study anymore. It's become an ideology. It has become a religion. And the environment itself is now told to be more important, of higher value than the people living in the environment. The environment is more valuable than the people. And all those who question the science are evil. That's what your kids are being told. That's what your grandkids are being told. So what in the world can we do about it? Well, the first thing we can do is pray for the Christian teachers. You see, there are still some who have sacrificed their life in a very, very hostile environment to try to keep true to what God says. And they're the dramatic minority. Please pray for them that they would be able to stand strong and stay where God has put them. The second thing, you can pay attention to what your kids and grandkids are learning. Ask them what they're learning at school. Ask their teachers, what do you believe about these controversial topics? And the last thing, of course, is share this video. Literally hit the like button. It's no big deal. Hit the subscribe button. It's no big deal to you. But the more you like, the more you share, the more people will see this, because YouTube will raise its rankings. And if you do hit that notify button, you, of course, will be the first to know when we drop a new video. Please, please remember, our children's eternities are what is at stake. Say that again, our children's eternity. And that is far, far more important than their academic career.